What is Starship? SpaceX builds its next-generation rocket. The giant, gleaming spacecraft is being designed to carry NASA astronauts to the moon, as well as the dreams of Elon Musk's space company. NASA wants to use it to land American astronauts on the moon. The Pentagon wants to use it to whisk military cargo around the world in minutes. Astronomers, satellite companies, and aspiring space tourists are eyeing its potential to drastically slash the cost of getting to space. Elon Musk says it is the holy grail of space technology, and sees it as crucial to his ultimate goal of colonizing Mars. It is called Starship, and for SpaceX, Mr. Musk's private space company, it is the future. Its success or failure may determine whether the company achieves his dreams. Since 2010, SpaceX has been flying Falcon 9, a rocket with a reusable booster that has become one of the most dominant launch vehicles in global spaceflight. Starship is the next generation, designed as a gigantic and fully reusable rocket system that could cost less and fly more often. Since 2019, the rocket has been steadily emerging as a silvery sentinel in stainless steel reflecting the sunlight of a South Texas launch site along the Gulf of Mexico. Testing of Starship prototypes has resulted in fiery failures leading up to a successful flight and landing in May 2021. After a series of premature announcements followed by delays, Mr. Musk says 2022 is the year Starship will get to orbit for the first time. But many obstacles remain to be overcome. Here are answers to common questions about Starship and what must occur before it gets to space, let alone the moon. What is Starship? When fully stacked together, Starship stands taller than the Statue of Liberty, at nearly 400 feet. It is also taller than Saturn V, the rocket that sent American astronauts to the moon during NASA's Apollo program. Mr. Musk has said Starship is designed to be roughly twice as powerful as the Saturn V. Starship has a wider diameter than other orbital spacecraft, 30 feet, which is meant to make it possible to transport large amounts of cargo or perhaps many people. To get to orbit, Starship sits atop a towering rocket booster called Super Heavy. Once the two pieces of the spacecraft plow through the stresses of Earth's atmosphere, the two parts separate near the edge of space. As Starship continues farther toward orbit, the Super Heavy booster that helped it off the ground returns for a landing near its launch pad. A massive tower equipped with mechanical arms, which Mr. Musk calls chopsticks, will attempt to grab the descending rocket to softly land it. Starship plunges back through Earth's atmosphere on its side, which is designed to endure the wicked heat of re-entry just as the Space Shuttle's underside once did. Shortly before landing, Starship reignites its engines to flip itself vertically for a soft landing. SpaceX has test-launched 5 prototypes of Starship's upper section to an altitude of roughly 6 miles. Only the final prototype successfully stuck a landing, its predecessors exploded either on the ground or in flight. But the next chapter in Starship's timeline, reaching orbit, has been slower to start. To get to space, SpaceX needs to debut its Super Heavy booster. It is to be powered by dozens of Raptor rocket engines, far more than the 3 engines previously flown on past Starship prototypes. The date for Starship's first orbital test flight has been pushed back several times, but Mr. Musk's latest projection was some time after February. SpaceX had previously aimed to carry out the test last summer, in 2021, then gradually scooted the date back as challenges with Super Heavy's design and lengthy reviews by regulators hampered the company's drive to move fast. Development and construction of the rocket system has been highly visible at SpaceX's open-air facilities in Boca Chica, Texas, mere miles from the US-Mexico border. The company calls the area Starbase. What will happen during Starship's orbital test flight? According to plans SpaceX filed with regulators last May, Starship's debut trip to orbit could involve a 90-minute journey to the coast of Hawaii. The fully stacked rocket system would launch from Texas, with the Super Heavy booster splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico after delivering Starship to orbit, a partial return demonstration some 20 miles from the Texas shore. After reaching orbit, Starship will attempt to make a nearly full trip around the Earth before re-entering the atmosphere for a splashdown roughly 60 miles off the coast of Kauai, one of Hawaii's northernmost islands. NASA in 2021 gave SpaceX $2.9 billion to develop a version of Starship for the agency's first 2 flights to the moon under Artemis, a multi-billion-dollar human program to return astronauts to the lunar surface. The goal is to make the moon a proving ground for future missions to Mars. The first Starship moonshot will be a test, making the journey without humans to demonstrate its ability to land on and return from the moon. The next mission, ambitiously planned for 2025, will carry NASA astronauts. In the past decade, the idea of Starship has taken many forms. The rocket has even had other names: Mars Colonial Transporter, Interplanetary Transport System, and BFR, which, officially at least, stood for Big Falcon Rocket. Via tweet, Mr. Musk changed the name to Starship in 2018. The design of the rocket has also morphed. The landing legs and the shape of its aerodynamic fins have changed, but its shiny steel exterior has remained. An elevator was added to the Starship concept that will land on the moon for NASA, allowing astronauts to descend to the surface from Starship's crew section at the top. The engines that power Starship, Raptor, have also evolved, with the current version called Raptor 2. But a complete design overhaul is necessary for the engine that can actually make life multiplanetary, Mr. Musk said last year of the engines. It won't be called Raptor. And then there's the matter of surviving a journey to Mars. When asked about developing life support systems for long-term journeys in 2019, Mr. Musk blithely said, "I don't think it's actually super hard to do that, relative to the spacecraft itself."